Is it connected? Inshallah, can you see is it connected? I'll check.
Check it.
Okay. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا اللهم بما علمتنا وزدنا اللهم علما وعملا إنك ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. أما بعد، هذا درسنا في شرح بلوغ المرام للحافظ ابن حجر رحمه الله، وكنا وقفنا عند باب التيمم في آخر ما أخذنا، ونواصل الدرس بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى سائلين له التوفيق والسداد. So this is the class we left off, an explanation of Bulugh al-Maram, the book of fiqh or jurisprudence, and the great book by Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar rahimahullah. And we taking the explanation of the scholars who make the matters easier for us to understand and bring the benefits, like Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah wa Sheikh Al-Albani rahimahullah wa ghayruhuma min al-a'imma, and other than them from the scholars, past and present. So, التيمم, this we know, التيمم هو فرع عن أصل الوضوء، لأن إذا وجد الماء لابد من استعمال الماء، فالتطهر بالماء هو الأصل، ويذهب إلى التيمم عند فقدان الماء أو التعذر من استعمال الماء كما سيأتي. So what is tayammum? Tayammum, we know this is the dry ablution, which is the replacement for water when we don't have water or we cannot use water. And we'll come to the reasons why you can do tayammum, but it is the replacement type of purification. You could call it dry ablution. Dry ablution. That's legislatively, shar'an. That's the meaning, shar'an. Shar'an, التعبد لله تعالى بمسح الوجه واليدين بالتراب على صفة مخصوصة. It means to worship Allah by wiping the face and the hands with dirt or dust or whatever surface of the earth. Whatever's on the surface of the earth, you wipe with that your face and your hands, and we'll come to the manner of how to do it. That's legislatively. But we should know the meaning of the word in Arabic too. It's good. Just like, we know the meaning of salah. Salah, in the wording of the language, it means dua, to make dua, okay? But in the legislation, it is the actions which we perform in the prayer. Likewise, tayammum. Tayammum has a wording, meaning in the language of the Arabic. It means al-qasd, to intend something. To intend something. وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ وَلَسْتُمْ بِآخِذِيهِ. As Allah said, when you want to spend, don't intend the worst and the most minor or insignificant or wanted type of money, which you wouldn't want anyways, type of spending that you don't want anyways. Don't go to that. لا تيمموا الخبيث. Don't choose that wicked stuff to give to others. If you don't want it yourself, why give it to others? So here, so in the legislation, this is what we're talking about, but otherwise that's the meaning in the language. فشرط التيمم, the condition, the only time we can make tayammum is one of the following. لعدم وجود الماء إما حسا أو شرعا, when we don't have water. Either hissan, meaning physically, there's no water. A person's traveling, for example, and he's in a place where there's no water nearby. There's no water physically. أو شرعا, شرعا كان لو كانت على سفر ولم يجد يعني أو كان الماء الذي معه يحتاجه للشراب فهذا الماء المحتاج للشراب الذي ما عنده إلا ماء شراب إذا توضأ به عطش وقد يموت من العطش أو يعني قد يموت. فهذا الماء هو محتاج إليه للشرب, فهو حكمه مفقود الماء شرعا, مع أن الماء موجود. حسا الماء موجود, لكن شرعا غير موجود, لأن الماء هذا هو يعني خص للشرب, فهو في حكم فاقد الماء شرعا. So like for example, what do we mean when we don't have water? Either physically there's no water around, that's obvious, or a person has only enough water to drink. This is shar'an. Legislatively, it's as if he doesn't have water, because this water, which is only enough to drink or to make wudu with, if he uses it to make wudu, then he'll die of thirst or maybe get sick from dehydration. So this legislatively as if he has no water. Legislatively as if he is a person lacking water altogether. Another reason, عند تعذر استعمال الماء, if for example he cannot use the water, okay, there's water around, okay, it's plenty of water, all right, it's not just enough to drink, there's more, but he is sick, okay, and if he was to get his body wet or some part of his body, then he would end up either getting sick or getting more sick, okay, or delaying his cure. فهنا تعذر استعمال الماء إما لوجود المرض أو خوفا من اشتداد المرض وتأخر برئه. Perhaps he may get more sick, or he may delay his cure from the sickness if he uses water. So here he is excused. He can make tayammum with the dirt. Or if the water in the al-bard al-shadid, as will come in one of the hadith, one of the Sahaba, he made tayammum because it was very cold. Okay, Ammar ibn Yasir, radiallahu anhu, so it was very cold, and he was afraid that in this cold weather, if he was to put water on his body, he would fall sick. So this Prophet ﷺ agreed with him in this act and approved iqrar of this act. This shows this is one of the reasons. If the water is too cold, such to the extent that you may get sick, then you can not use the water and make tayammum. واعلم أن مشروعية التيمم من رحمة الله وتسييره للعباد. And we should know that this legislation of tayammum is a clear evidence that Allah wants for us mercy, that Allah wants for us ease. Because to make, for example, we use water when you're sick, this is a difficulty, this is mashaqqa. And from the legislation, al-mashaqqa tajlib al-taysir. When there's difficulty, Allah legislated for us easiness. In any matter. When you're traveling, it may be difficult to pray all 5 prayers at their specific times because you're actively moving on the road or in the plane. So legislated for us is Jama' salawat, to combine the prayers. وقصر الصلوات الرباعية, and to shorten the 4 unit prayers to 2 unit prayers. This is why there's difficulty. Okay? Likewise in this issue. When it's difficult to use the water, from Allah's mercy, that He legislated for us to tayammum. This is clear that Allah, Deenullah Yusr, the religion of Allah is easiness. طيب. So before we get into the ahadith, the Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah mentioned some things that we should know. Or some people, they think that is a condition to do tayammum, but it's not a condition. It's not a condition. One thing they say, هل يشترط دخول الوقت في التيمم? Is it a condition that you have to wait till the time comes in for the prayer? For example, you're 1 hour before Dhuhr, okay? It's around noon. You don't have water, okay? Do you have to wait till Dhuhr comes in, like 1:30, before you actually say, okay, I'm sure now I don't have water, I make tayammum now? The Sheikh said, لا يشترط دخول الوقت. He said, no, it's not a condition to wait. إذا كنت على يقين أنك لن تجد الماء عند دخول الوقت، يعني في هذا الوقت 1.5 ساعة أنت متيقن أنه لا وجود للماء، الماء مفقود ولن تجد الماء عند دخول الوقت، فلك أن تتيمم قبل دخول الوقت. But you're sure. What is it? You're sure you don't. You know you're in a condition. You're in the very desolate area. In an hour and a half, there's not going to be any water. You don't have any hope that water is coming. You have no reasonable, guess that water is coming. You can go ahead and make tayammum before the time of Dhuhr. That's what the Sheikh said. Or in the التعذر وعدم استطاعة استعمال الماء لكونك مريضا وتعرف أنك لن تبرأ قبل دخول الوقت. Or that you're sick. Another example, person sick, he can make tayammum. Can he make tayammum before the time of prayer? Similarly, if he knows his sickness is going to continue, he has no hope to be cured from the sickness such that he can use water in an hour and a half when the time of Dhuhr comes in, he can go ahead and make tayammum before. So this is ease. This is ease. Opposite though, لو كان يرجو وعنده غلبة الظن أنه سيجد الماء قبل خروج الوقت، فهنا ذهب بعض أهل العلم أنه يؤخر التيمم وقد يؤخر الصلاة عن أول وقتها، لأن التطهر بالماء عند وجوده واجب والصلاة في أول الوقت سنة، فلو يؤخر الصلاة في أول الوقت على تيمم إذا كان غلبة الظن عنده أنه سيجد الماء قبل خروج الوقت. Okay, this we said if the person says there's no water and I don't expect to find water. What if though he expects that there is a reasonable chance that I'm going to find some water before the prayer time ends? When does Dhuhr end? Asr time. Okay, so say he thinks, okay, before 5:30, I think I might find some water. Okay, this difference of opinion, but Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen said there's a good strong opinion among some scholars that he should not pray with tayammum in the early part of Dhuhr, okay, at 1:30, if he has a good a chance that he's going to find water by the end of Dhuhr. Rather, he should wait and use that water and pray with water, if he has that good suspicion that the water is going to come. اوكي، هل يبطل التيمم بخروج الوقت؟ ايضا لا، لا يبطل. اذا دخول الوقت ليس شرطا لصحته، ولا خروجه مبطلا لصحة الوضوء or التيمم. Also, the next thing, what if the time ends? A person prayed, had to make tayammum, okay? And he prayed dhuhr. He still doesn't have water. Now, asr time comes. Does he have to make a new tayammum or something? Does his tayammum only last for one prayer time period? No, there's no evidence of that. Rather, as long as he doesn't have water, he can continue praying tayammum with tayammum, the prayers, as many prayers as he wants, as long as there's no water. And he doesn't have to renew that unless he breaks his wudu, unless he breaks his wudu, obviously. But if he didn't break his wudu, he can pray dhuhr, asr, maghrib on that same tayammum, okay? Just like it was with water, just like in the tahara bil ma. A person does not have to refresh his wudu if he didn't break it. وهل يختلف التيمم يعني بين الحدثين الأكبر والأصغر؟ كلاهما سواء، كلاهما سواء. فالتيمم يعني يستطيع أن أو يعني يطهره عن الحدث الأصغر والأكبر عند عدم وجود الماء أو التعذر من استعماله. Also, is it just for a minor impurity of going to the bathroom? He can make tayammum to cover that? Or is it also for the bath if he has major impurity? It's also for the major impurity, yes. A person, if he's upon janaba, he has, had relation with his wife and there's no water, or he had a wet dream and there's no water, as will come in the hadith, he can make tayammum to cover the ghusl. Okay? It's not just to cover the wudu, also to cover the ghusl. طيب، أيضا من فضل هذا التيمم أنه من خصائص هذه الأمة، فإن الله تعالى قد خص هذه الأمة بخصائص، وهذا يأتي بالحديث الأول، حديث جابر. Also, from the virtue of this tayammum, the dry ablution, this is from the specific characteristics or the virtues that Allah gave to this ummah, not to other previous nations. So it is a great mercy that Allah gave and a great virtue that He gave this worship to us to practice. And this is mentioned in the first hadith in the chapter, hadith al-mi'a wal-ishrun, عن جابر بن عبد الله رضي الله عنهما أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: أعطيت خمسا لم يعطهن أحد قبلي. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, I was given 5 things. In one narration, 6 things. But this narration says 5. That was not given to anyone before me, meaning any prophet or any human being before me. نصرت بالرعب مسيرة الشهر. I was given victory by Allah and assistance against the enemy, the distance of a month's journey in advance. We'll explain, inshallah, as the Shaykh said, what this means. وَجُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. وهذا الشاهد. And the earth was made for me as a place of prayer and a purification. All the earth. With some exceptions we'll mention. Meaning anywhere you are in the earth and the time for the prayer comes, you pray. Because you have a place which is lawful to pray in, and you have the earth. Even if you don't have water, you can use the earth, the surface of the earth, and wipe your face and hands, and you pray. على طهارة كاملة. It's a complete purification. فأيما رجل أدركته الصلاة فليصلي. So any man, and means woman also, that the prayer time comes and he has no water, he still prays. as he is, wherever he is. He doesn't have to wait till he comes to a masjid if he's far away, or he doesn't have to wait till he comes home, or so on, or some other stop. Wherever he is, he prays, as long as he can pray safely. طيب قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أعطيت خمسا، هذا العدد لا مفهوم له ولا يفيد الحصر. When the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم says, I was given 5 things, it doesn't mean he's only given 5 things. These hadith that mention 5 or 7 or 3, سبعة يذلهم الله في ظله يوم لا ظل إلا ظله, the 7 who are shaded in the shade of Allah when there's no shade except his shade, it doesn't mean there's only 7. Okay? This is a general principle. There's more. There's other hadith that mention other than these 7. Also, ثلاث لا يكلمهم الله ولا ينظر إليهم. The 3 who Allah will not look at them or talk to them. ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. And they will have a painful torment. It doesn't mean there's just 3. Okay? There's others. But these are mentioned, perhaps they're the first most fitting to be in this category of people who did very bad things, in the case of the 3 who Allah will not speak to them, or the 7 who did very virtuous things. Okay, so they're all mentioned together in one hadith. Okay, so it doesn't mean, but there could be others. Okay, there could be others. And likewise in this, the Prophet ﷺ was given 5 these things, but he was also given other things besides. Like mentioned in one hadith, in this similar hadith, but it's in Sahih Muslim. This hadith is in Bukhari. Prophet ﷺ said, "وَأَعْطِيتُ سِتًّا وَأَعْطِيتُ جَوَامِعَ الْكَلِمِ." It's mentioned, the Prophet ﷺ said, another hadith, I was given 6. From that is the comprehensive speech, that he could say a few words and convey a vast meaning, a big meaning. So that's the one benefit when it comes to such wording, when it says a numbering in any such hadith. قال, no one was given this before me, meaning specifically from the Prophet. قال الأول نصرت بالرعب مسيرة شهر. He said, I was given assistance by the الرعب وهو الخوف الذي يلقيه الله في قلوب الأعداء الكفار المحاربين. يعني هذا أكبر سلاح يفتك به الأعداء، لأن الخائف الذي الله يلقي في قلبه هذا الرعب لا يثبت قدمه بل يهرب فورا. فهذا الله ينصر المسلمين عليه من خلال هذا الرعب. So this ru'ab, this fear, this is a great weapon that Allah has given to our Prophet ﷺ and his ummah after him. But specific to him, that when it was he had a war or some animosity with some other nation, then Allah would precede him and put fear in the hearts of the enemy warring nation, the distance of a month travel. When it says though a month travel, this means according to Ma'ruf fi ahdi Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It means the month travel that is known at that time. Okay, it's not the month travel in our time. In a month in our time, you can travel all the way around across the world, right? In 1 month. No, this is the month في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. يقول الشيخ هو سير الإبل المحملة، يعني في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بالسير المتوسط لا سريعة ولا بطيئة. That a person, this is the travel on a camel. Okay, what is the month's journey on a camel that is burdened and has its baggage? Okay, not to just a normal pace. How far can a camel travel in 1 month at that time of the Prophet ﷺ? That is how far the fear and the terror preceded him. So this is the Sheikh bin Baz said and other scholars. This is like the distance between Al Medina to Sham, okay, to the land of the Sham, Jordan area, or to Al Iraq, okay, or to Al Yemen, or to Misr, those neighboring kingdoms that were there. That's how far it reached them, the fear, okay. And this is from from those specific uh, things that Allah gave to him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وكذلك لأمته لأن المعنى الذي نصر به من أجله الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا وجد في أمته فالنصر باقي. Because the meaning, if that the ummah after him from his time to now, if they have the qualities that necessitate and they would deserve this assistance, then Allah would give this assistance to them anytime, as long as they come with the qualifications. They come with the prerequisites: من الإيمان والعمل الصالح وإقامة الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يعني أن يقيموا حدود الله سبحانه وتعالى. That a person, as long as the ummah is upon the istiqamah, from establishing the prayer, giving the zakah, okay, and worshipping and believing first and foremost in the heart, the correct faith, the correct aqidah, without innovations and without deviations, and that, and away from shirk, okay. Then if we come with this type of attributes and qualifications, then Allah will give us this assistance, okay. ولكن إذا تخلف النصر عن الأمة فلا بد أن يكون لذلك سبب. The Sheikh said, but if there is no assistance like this or similar to it, to this ummah, then there must be a reason, okay. لأن الوعد موجود، إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد، لكن قد يتخلف الوعد لخلل عندنا أو لسبب من الأسباب، ومنها المعصية والشرك أكبر ذنب، ومنها الإعجاب بالنفس، ومنها عدم الإخلاص. The Sheikh said some of those reasons why we may not get the assistance because of sinning, and first and foremost shirk, innovation, all kinds of sins. When the ummah is upon sinning, and disobedience to Allah, then they're not upon the attributes of the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we're not going to get what he was promised. But if we return to his way, then we will get. As Imam Malik said, لا يصلح آخر هذه الأمة إلا ما صلحت به أولها. That this ummah, Imam Malik, a great Imam, he said that the last of this ummah will not be rectified, will not get goodness, will not be getting what Allah has promised, except by the exact same thing which rectified the first part of the ummah, the good deed, the faith, and being upon the way of the Sahaba. If we are upon that way, then and only then will Allah rectify us, correct our affairs. Imam Malik knew, okay, because he didn't get this from anywhere. He got this from Kitabillah wa Sunnat al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah said, Allah يقول فإن آمنوا بمثل ما آمنتم به فقد اهتدوا. Allah said, and if they believe as you believe. Man al-Mukhatab, Sahabatul Kiram. Who is Allah addressing? The Sahaba. If they believe as you believe, then they are guided. وَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَإِنَّمَا هُمْ فِي شِقَاقٍ. And if they turn away from your way, then they're upon division. They've deviated. They've come with something new. Okay? And they are opposing and branching and dividing from your way. And they will not have the guidance. And many such, ayat and hadith. So, This is from the aspect of religion, not dunya. Obviously, dunya, the door is open to innovate and bring new inventions and cars and airplanes and all that. There's no problem. This is dunya. But when we say upon their way of the Sahaba in the things which are related to the religion and the worship, okay, how we believe in Allah, how we make da'wah, how we call to Allah, how we pray, how we fast, how we deal business, mu'amalat, akhlaq, all these things we take from their way. Then we'll have this assistance, inshallah, as is promised. Then so this is the first one, okay. So any questions so far? We covered so far. We covered the first of the. This is a tremendous hadith, so we'll take it today, inshallah. Although it's only part of it is about the topic of tayammum, but it has a lot of benefits. So, any questions to this point? So, the second one, الثاني قال جعلت لي الأرض مسجدا وطهورا. He said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and the earth was made for me as a masjid and a purification, something I can purify myself with. So هذا واضح، يعني كشاهد للباب أن وجه الماء كله يتطهر به. So that shows clearly that all of the earth we can make purification with. Okay? All of the surface of the earth. هذا سواء كان أرض ذات التراب أو ذات الأحجار أو ذات الرمال، لأن الله أطلق وقال أرض، والأرض عند الإطلاق يشمل الجميع. So why? Because, okay, now this, when it comes to the earth, we'll come to this maybe more in detail, but it doesn't have to be dirt, okay? It could be stones, okay? It could be gravel, That's all of that is earth. Some earth is stony, right? When the hadith says that the earth, the Prophet ﷺ said, the earth was made for me as a purification. The whole earth is not dirt, right? So some people think it has to be dust, it has to be dirt. No, it doesn't have to be. The hadith says the whole earth is made for me. So this makes sense because you're going to come in some travels, you're going to come on gravel, okay? You're going to come on stony areas, okay? There's no dirt. So there's going to be a little bit of film, anywhere you go, there's a little film of dirt, dust, okay? But it doesn't have to be dirt, that's the point. So the point is you can wipe those stones on the surface of the earth, okay? And wipe your face and hands with it. وقوله مسجد أي مكانا أو محلا للصلاة. وأطلق الله أو الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم السجود ويراد به الصلاة. When he said masjid literally means a place of sujood, right? But it means a place of prayer. We say sujood, but we mean prayer. So anywhere in the earth you can pray, with some exceptions, which we'll come to. Some exceptions. So فقال فأيما رجل أدركته الصلاة فليصلي. So any man who the time of the prayer comes in, then go ahead and pray. ولا عذر له في التأخير لأنه إن قال أريد أن أؤخر لأجل أن أتوضأ بالماء قلنا الأرض طهور. If a person says, no, I want to wait, okay, I want to wait till I find water, even if the prayer is going to leave, even if I have to wait, many hours, I'm going to wait until I keep going. No, this hadith says no. The earth is there for you. You don't have to wait and miss the prayer. Okay? Like you said, if you expect to find water before the end of the prayer time, then maybe you could wait that time until the water. But you don't wait حتى يخرج وقت الصلاة. You don't wait till the prayer leaves and it ends. No, that's not allowed. Okay. وقال أؤخر الصلاة لأجل مكان أطمئن به, or I want to wait until there's a place where I feel, I feel better, to pray there. But a person is perfectly safe to pray here. Okay, and the time came in. قلنا لا الأرض مسجد الأرض كله مسجد فلا عذر لك. So you don't have excuse to delay. Okay, pray on time, as long as wherever you are. طيب ثم ذكر الثالث من خصائص هذه الأمة المباركة فقال وأحلت لي الغنائم ولم تحل لأحد قبلي ولم تحل لأحد قبلي. The third thing which is from this in this mentioned in this hadith, from the specific qualities and virtues of this ummah, is the permissibility to take the war treasures, the war spoils of war. And this was not allowed to the previous nations. This was not allowed for the previous nations. And the war treasures and the spoils يعني من الأعداء الحربيين بقتال أو ما ألحق به. This is from the people who we have a war with, obviously. Not people we have a treaty with, not people we have peace with. No, we're warring with some, Muslim country, Muslim, nation is warring against a non-Muslim nation. Then there's in the process there's war, spoils of war. وكانت فيما سبق تجمع الغنائم فينزل الله عليها نارا فتأكلها. Because not this is only with the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was allowed to take this. In the previous nations, then all the war spoils would be gathered together, and then Allah would send down fire from the skies, and it would consume that treasure. Okay, it was not allowed to divide it amongst the soldiers, or to keep it for Bayt al-Mal and so on, for the general benefit of the ummah. No, it was not allowed before. So this was a abrogation, or you could say a new legislation that Allah legislated for this ummah. وقال يعني لهذا هذا معنى قول الله تعالى فيما يحكي عن المكذبين، فيما احتج به المكذبون للرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم بقولهم حتى يأتينا بقربان تأكله النار. When Allah said those people who denied and rejected the messengers or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said, we won't believe, until he comes with some offering, and the fire consumes it. They were referring to what was to this matter, that it used to be happening with the war, spoils. They said, no, we're not going to believe in you, O messenger. You claim to be a messenger until you do this. You bring this offering, something sacrifice, and the fire comes down, and so on. This is their way. They would, come up and propose certain miracles that the Prophet ﷺ should come with from themselves, and they have no right to do that. This week we're covered in the seerah how the kuffar Quraysh would suggest, and they say, we want this miracle, we want that miracle, and so on. We want that you should have angels come with you, assist you, that you should have a house of decorations, you should have a garden with springs flowing, and so on, and you should make the water turn into gold. Even they said such. You should make the water, the rivers turn into gold. It's not for them, And even if this happened, they would not believe. Even if they got these signs, they still would not believe. And rather, they have a bigger sign already present, which is the Quran al-Kareem, the book of Allah, the speech of Allah, that they cannot come with similar. They already have better sign, but they just propose this and want this and that out of stubbornness and delaying, basically, and saying, and if he doesn't come with it, so see, he's not a messenger. This is the tool that they used. Okay, they couldn't say anything uh, belying what he brought, the Quran. They couldn't come with anything to reject it, or the fact that he was يعني معروف عندهم. The bigger sign, one of the signs that this man who is claiming messengership, they know him from his youth. Yeah, they know him that he's upon sidq wa amana, he's upon truthfulness and trustworthiness. Okay, and then as soon as he came with something though they didn't like, they rejected and forgot all that. Okay, they said, "You're the most truthful." Then when he came with something, no, you're a liar. This shows that they are upon contradiction. They're upon contradiction. But this is a sign for them that this man is known for truth. So believe him in this what he came with. Okay, so then he mentioned الرابعة, the fourth matter in the hadith which he was given, وأعطيت الشفاعة, وأعطيت الشفاعة, and I was given the intercession. Intercession المراد به الشفاعة العظمى. الشفاعة لأن يعني يأتي الله للفصل بين العباد في عرصات القيامة. This is the shafa'a which is intended here is the major shafa'a, which is the which the people will be waiting يوم القيامة. مقداره 50,000 سنة. It's 50,000 years long, and they are in difficulty and seeing horrors and tribulation and difficulty and so on. And then they're asking that this should be relieved. They want relief. So they go to the messengers. Allah يلهمهم أن يستشفعوا ويذهبوا إلى يعني الرسل، فيذهبون أولا إلى آدم عليه السلام أبي البشر، فيعتذر لشيء عنده فيحيلهم إلى نوح عليه السلام. So what do they do in this condition? Allah gives them some inclination that they should go to the messengers. Okay, so they go to Adam alayhi salam to start the judgment, to relieve them from this difficulty they're in. But Adam alayhi salam, he excuses himself. Okay, he says he's not for this. He excuses himself for that which he did. So, but they go to Nuh alayhi salam. وهو كذلك يعتذر ثم إلى إبراهيم فيعتذر ثم إلى موسى ويعتذر ثم إلى عيسى عليه السلام، فلا يعتذر لنقص عنده أو لشيء عنده، ولكن يتخلى عن الشفاعة لوجود من هو أولى وحق بها وهو محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، فيذهبون له فيأذن الله له أن يشفعه في الخلق فيأتي الله للفصل بين العباد. So here, this narration, well-known narration, they go to all these prophets, they all excuse themselves for something they have, and except Isa alayhi salam, Jesus alayhi salam, he doesn't say any that something he did, but rather he says, go to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, meaning he's the better. He is the most qualified for this. So this is al-maqam al-mahmud. This is the praiseworthy station also. When we ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-maqam al-mahmud, Allah mentioned also in the Quran, يعني أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا وتهجد به نافلة لك عسى أن يبعثك ربك مقاما محمودا. and make the night prayer for him, ordering him sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah would raise for you the praiseworthy station, and that is this, ash-shafa'ah. So we notice that he sallallahu alaihi wasallam was specified for this. Okay, wa ashrafun nas lam yanaluhu. All these great of the creation, the best of the messengers after him, besides him, they could not reach this station. Okay, and but he was specified for this. So therefore he said, "Ana يعني خير ولد آدم," or that I am the best of the son of Adam, ولا فخر, without boasting. That I am the best of the son of Adam without boasting, meaning this is from that Allah has specified for him and had given him this and honored him sallallahu alaihi wasallam with this position. And a Sayyidu Walidi Adam wala fakhr. He said, I am the best of the son of Adam without boasting. Meaning this is a fact. It's not that I'm boasting, but this is what Allah has given me. طيب والخامسة the last thing, is there echo? They said there's an echo on the channel. Maybe it's too close. I'll bring it down better. Yeah, inshallah. الخامسة قال صلى الله عليه وسلم كان النبي يبعث إلى قومه خاصة وبعثت إلى الناس عامة. The fifth thing, the final thing in this hadith that the Prophet ﷺ was specified with, he said that the prophets before me were sent to their own peoples, their own nation. But I was sent to all of mankind. All of mankind. Okay, so وقال الشيخ ابن تيمية رحمه الله وذلك حين تتعدد الأقوام عند تعدد الأقوام وإنما قيدت ذلك لئلا يرد علينا رسالة نوح عليه السلام لأن نوح قد يقول واحد أليس نوح كذلك أرسل إلى أهل الأرض جميعا رسالته إلى أهل الأرض جميعا قلنا نعم وكذلك لكن في ذلك الوقت ما كان هناك متفرقون لا قصد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عند وجود تعدد الأمم فأنا رسولهم كلهم أرسلت إلى كلهم هذا هو القصد. So also the fifth thing, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that I was sent to all of mankind, not to a specific nation. Meaning when there are different nations. Okay, for example, you have now, at the time the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent, okay, until now too, but when he was sent, there was other nations. There were the Jews, the Christians, the Jews, following their prophet, Christians following their prophet, Isa alayhi salam. And there were different nations, okay? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to all of them, okay? And all of them had to believe in him, okay? As opposed to other prophets, they were sent to only their nation. Isa alayhi salam was only sent to Bani Israel, okay? And other prophets were only sent to their nation, not sent to the whole of mankind at his time. But someone may say, what about Nuh alayhi salam? Wasn't Nuh alayhi salam sent to the whole world? Everyone on the world was to believe in Nuh alayhi salam? Yes, but at that time, there were no different nations. Okay, they were all one, mankind. Okay, so that's why he was sent to all of them, because they were all one nation. They were all one nation. There were no different tribes and so on, or different nations. فهذه من فوائد هذا الحديث منة الله على هذه الأمة حيث خصها بخصائص عظيمة. وهذا مصداق قول الله تعالى كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. This is why Allah said, you are the best nation of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This nation is the best of nations that was sent for the people. ولكن يقول الله يثني على بني إسرائيل وقال يعني وفضلنا كما قال تعالى وفضلناكم على العالمين كما قال الله تعالى. فكيف نجمع بين هذه النصوص وما قلنا في فضل هذه الأمة؟ قلنا نقول يقول أهل العلم يعني فضلناهم على عالم زمانهم، وإلا فهذه الأمة أفضل الأمم على الإطلاق باتفاق الأمة العلماء. So what do we mean? When we see verses though that say that Allah said we have favored Bani Israel all over the creations, someone may think, well, that means that they're better than this ummah, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We say when Allah said we have favored them over the creation, meaning at that time, those at that time. But otherwise, this ummah is the best. Clearly, from these such ayat and hadith, Allah said you are the best nation. Okay, so that's how we understand this hadith. Also, so we mentioned now some what the Shaykh mentioned about what is excluded from the earth which we can pray in. لأن هذا نص عام جعلت لي الأرض مسجدا وطهورا، هذا عام، ولكن هناك نصوص خاصة عند وجود العام والخاص يحمل العام على الخاص فيخصص هذا العام. فماذا يخصص ويستثنى من هذا العام من الأرض الذي يجوز الصلاة فيها؟ الأول المكان النجس فإنه لا يصلى فيه. What is the first thing? Place. Whenever you have a general text, usually for every rule there's an exception. Okay, generally when you have some rule there are some exceptions. Okay, so this general rule that we can pray anywhere in the earth, there are exceptions to that. Number one, the exception is the place where there's some filth. Okay, a place where there's human excrement, okay, or such, or things that are filthy, urine. And the proof for this is the hadith al-Arabi الذي بال في المسجد. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أمر بتطهير المسجد قبل الصلاة فيها وفيه. From the clear proof that the one who urinated in the masjid out of ignorance, then the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم ordered to wash that area before they would pray in therein, because we cannot pray where there's filth. So even in the masjid, if there's filth, we cannot pray in that spot or in that area, where there's filth. والثاني من المستثنى المقبرة لا تصح الصلاة فيها. The second place where we cannot pray is the graveyard. In fact, the prayer is invalid in the graveyard for many hadith. From that, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا الْقُبُورَ مَسَاجِدَ. Don't take the graveyards as places of prayer. لا للنجاسة، لا، المسجد المؤمن لا ينجس، لكن يعني حيا وميتا، لكن يعني سدا عن ذريعة الشرك، لأن الصلاة في مقبرة قد يؤدي إلى إبادة هؤلاء الأموات، وهذه شبهة كبيرة في الأولين والآخرين. فاجتنابا وحماية للتوحيد نهى الله سبحانه وتعالى عن الصلاة في مكان المقبرة حتى لا يعظم هذه القبور ويصلى ويعني يسأل من دون الله. So why we can't pray in the graveyard? Okay, is it because they're filthy, like the first one where there's urine? No, they're not filthy, but it would lead to shirk to pray there, because a person, prays there. Eventually, a person will come, later and say, why you pray here? Shaitan will come and start to whisper, oh, because these are very righteous people, you know. So you pray here is better than you pray elsewhere. This is a very virtuous place, the graveyard. And you know why it's virtuous? Because this is a saint here. This is a very special person, and it may not be a saint there. Maybe something else, maybe a donkey buried there, for all we know. But they say, oh, because of this place, okay. And eventually, with generations, as we came over time, like Nuh alayhi salam, the shaitan said, your forefathers, they they used to not just think this is a nice place and the prayer is better there. They used to pray to these dead people when they see them praying there. So you should pray to them too. And so then people start praying to the dead people and asking them for things. And this is the shirk which is present, in many lands, even Muslim lands. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala salama and protect us from that. But so this is why we're not allowed to pray in the graveyards. وأيضا الثالث من الأماكن التي لا يجوز الصلاة فيها الحمام. ورد في ذلك حديث صححه الشيخ الألباني: الأرض كلها مسجد إلا المقبرة والحمام. That the third place we're not allowed to pray is the bathroom. And this is similar, even if there's no, excrement there. This is had the Bayt Shayateen. This is the house of the Shayateen. Okay, that this place. So we're not allowed to pray there. And the hadith says, authenticated by Shaykh al-Albani, all of the earth is a place of prayer, except the graveyard and the bathroom, the place of the excrement, the place of the where people go to relieve themselves. And a person it cannot say also specifically praying to the graves. Also, even if a person is not in a graveyard, he should not be praying in the direction of the graves, because that also leads to, as we said, to shirk in either his time or later generation. وهذا هو الرابع أن تكون الصلاة إلى قبر. Thus we mentioned that we should not pray to the grave. والخامس أعطان الإبل. We mentioned this before in the book of Tahara. We're not allowed to pray in the stables of the camel stables, where they مأوى الإبل تأوي إليها, the place where they go to rest. So we mentioned there, why is that? Anybody remember from that?
You said there's some kind of like evil inclination in them, such that if you're praying there, they might trample you.
Yeah, the first part. This is what the Sheikh said. That's right. He said they have طبيعة الشياطين. They have the hadith said لأنها من الشيطان or من الشياطين. The hadith says because the camels are from the devils, meaning they have attributes and some nature, and will maybe lead. But even the Sheikh said, maybe I said that last time, they might trample you, but the Sheikh says here, no, it's because there is that place will be basically a place very closely, inhabited with the devils, because the shayateen are like that. And so this place is not a place which is of peace and tranquility to pray in, even if there's no camels there. So this is additional benefit he mentioned. Even if there's no camels there, the place itself carries that characteristic. So a person should, avoid or is not allowed to pray there. But that's correct. Um, and some scholars do say that what I mentioned last time, what you said, that the fear of trampling from the camels more so, because they are a rebellious nature. Everyone knows the camels have that stubbornness in them. Okay, and that's from this because they are from the shayateen, or have the similar characteristics, or the origin was from them. Okay, just like the origin of human beings from teen, from clay. That doesn't mean we look like clay. That means the origin. We have some remnants. Okay, likewise the camels, they have some remnants, some characteristics, some attributes, and we see that in them, as opposed to the sheep. The sheep and the such in lambs, they don't have that. They're very peaceful, and so on. اوكي ان شاء الله نكتفي بهذا القدر ونواصل الكلام في هذا الحديث وبقية الباب في درس قادم إن كان في الأمر بقية. والله تعالى أعلى وأعلم. وما قلنا من صواب فمن الله، وما قلت من خطأ فمن الشيطان ومن نفسي، والله تعالى منه بريء. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين، وجزاكم الله خيرا أجمعين. So we stop there, inshallah. Time is done. Any questions on this that we took? This first hadith?
So, if camels are, since camels are so, have an evil nature, then why is it that Sahaba probably used to use them so much?
Not you don't say. Not saying they're evil. They're not evil. They have a stubbornness, in them. The camels, and it's not a place to pray. That's all. Otherwise, riding them, is no problem. Obviously, the Prophet ﷺ had a camel, specifically named the camel. It had very good qualities. Okay, but it means only the prayer in these places. Okay, and there may be some hidden wisdom that we don't know, but specifically we're talking about the stables, the places where they come to rest, these camels. Okay, but otherwise, if you're not in these stable areas, there's no prohibition to pray. Doesn't mean that if you tie your camel, in a different place besides the stable, next to a stream or something, or a pond, you can't pray there. You can pray there. Okay, you can pray there. It's specifically the stable that is not allowed to be prayed in. That's what the Sheikh said, rahimahullah. So it's allowed to pray next to a camel. Okay. It's something about these tables. Well, it could be this is just some istinbat. The scholars, make some possible striving to understand the reason. But Allahu alam, eventually, what is the other reasons that might be? We don't know. Okay, هذا من علم الغيب. We don't know exactly. There may be other reasons, but when he said they are from, a shayateen, something about that in that stable area makes it a place which is not fitting for prayer. Make sense? Yeah. طيب. طيب. جزاكم الله خير.